Hey, our subject today is AI, and we don't mean artificial intelligence. Now, this might be, if you're joining us from another market, called something else. You may have a totally a different process. You probably have some things that are similar, and so you'll still be able to relate to what we have to talk about. But in our market, AI stands for Attorney Review and Inspection Period, and it's 5 business days after the contract is fully executed and signed by everyone. During this time, typically the buyer is going to deliver earnest money to whoever is holding it in an escrow account, and then they're going to hire somebody to do their inspections on the property. That might just be a general inspector. It might be 6 different inspectors if that's what the buyer chooses to look at. The inspector is going to inspect the property. They're going to give the buyer a report. As I usually tell my buyers, you're going to think when you get that the place needs a gas can and a match, because that's the inspector's job, to find every single little flaw. It doesn't mean we're handing that over to the seller. I did get that once. Here, inspection report attached. Please fix all these things. I picked up the phone, called the agent and said, "So your client is canceling?" And got a very surprised response, because that was an agent who had apparently not spoken to his client since the inspection, let the client and their attorney come up with what they were going to put together without any input from the agent. And there you have it. We were ready to go back on the market. I was just my next call was to our backup offer.
Yes, absolutely. I probably would have called that first. We're good, right? We're good. Okay. I'm about to kill it. But in that goes, I don't really truly know, obviously, who that attorney was, but that was one of our points, that again, in our market, attorneys are everywhere across the United States, and there is, 100 different ways that you can practice law. But we really encourage it here for our clients to hire a real estate attorney. There's a lot of attorneys out there who handle other things on a day-to-day basis, and they think, real estate, how hard can that be?
Right.
And really, when you're not in the day-to-day things, like Ruth pointed out, that attorney totally misled their clients.
So you have somebody who's used to doing divorces, and they're going to step into a real estate transaction, and they're going to, hammer that property agreement out.
Absolutely.
And get their client anything that they can. Well, okay.
Like it's a divorce.
Your client was one of 17 offers. Guess what? We're calling 16 other people the minute we get your response.
Absolutely.
So they think they're advocating for their client, and because they're not, well versed in what we do every day.
And I'm very happy that we live in, to be honest, in an attorney state or
area. Yeah, we're not really attorney state, but in our area, it's
attorney area, because I'm always seeing on various social media platforms, agents having to really navigate things that I wouldn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yes.
We have a very famous instructor in our area. In fact, actually, she's all over the place. I think she's NA.
National, yeah.
She's national. So if anybody knows Lynn Madison or has an absolute opportunity to take anything she does, please do so.
Yeah.
Because she's the greatest. But she often starts a lot of her classes with making us put our hands up and say, I promise I will not, I do not have a law degree, and I will not practice law without one, and without a license. So we very much don't want to, we need to deal with other professionals, but we have to make sure those professionals know what they're doing too. Because it all, we've been hitting home this whole series about our team, that we put together really good individuals who can help all of us navigate from beginning to end, because we all want to hit that end of the road where the signs are, everything's signed and we can say, woohoo, we're done.
And you as an agent, don't be the agent who says, oh, well, now anything legal, yes, but don't be the agent who says, I set the inspection. I don't want to hear another thing until it's my turn to step in and talk to the agent again. It's really important. You are the one who has the relationship with your client. The attorney is just stepping in at this point. They don't know what else has happened before. You need to be the communicator. You need to speak to that attorney. You need to say, listen, this contract is as is. We were one of 17 offers. We fought hard. We had to go high. Unless there is something that is going to cause this house to literally fall down within the first 4 days after purchase, I don't think our clients want to ask for anything. So let's see how the inspection comes back, and we'll all talk about it. But my advice as a market expert is to, unless there's something that's catastrophic, we're not going to ask for it. And that's really important because the client doesn't know what to do and the attorney doesn't know anything about what's come before. So they can't really have that conversation completely without you.
Right. Right. And then inspections. We have inspections here. We only talked about really the general inspection. We do have, I would say that basements are kind of the norm for the most part around this area. I know that's not in a lot of areas, but we do have basements. Some are slabs, and there are, I think the least amount is just a straight out crawl space. There's not too much in this area, but they go from top, literally under the house to up into the attic and on top and looking at the roof and all that stuff. But we also, the other thing that we have here, which we didn't talk about, is radon. Now I know that's a national thing, but I know that there's tons of areas, again, talking to these people from around the United States, that they look at you funny when you talk about a radon inspection.
Yeah, it's not common in all areas, and it's very common in ours. So we always recommend that clients have a radon test.
But we don't necessarily, only the VAs really do the termites. And
right.
There's other areas that they would probably look at us funny for hearing that too.
Yes.
So, especially if you're from different areas, you got to know what's expected of,
And then sometimes I ran into something I didn't even realize until we were in the midst of it. But there's an area that is prone to sewer pipe collapses and breaches. And so when my client asked for a sewer scope, which is pretty unusual, I learned more than I had known before. And it's common in that area. And it was a problem in the house that they were moving into. And it was a problem that cost about $5,000 that the sellers were required to fix.
Wow.
So, that is one of those things. You want your sewer to work when you move into a house. And so that is one of those things that we might say, this is something even in a very competitive market, we're going to ask a seller for, because they need to disclose going forward. And anybody's going to want their toilet to actually flush to the street when they pull the little handle.
Yes. And that's really what it comes down to, knowing your market, knowing what's normal, what's not, what you need to disclose, what you don't. And that's how playing into knowing, the inspection reports, getting the inspection reports, and working with the attorney, all to make sure that we are working in our client's best interest. We don't want them stuck with a money pit, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way.
Yes.
But also, we don't want them to, be henny penny, the sky's falling type of situation where no, this is really normal. So it's trying to build that trust. But gosh, does society really want to make us seem like we're the villains all the time out for their money?
Yeah, right.
But if they really realize the difference,
there are a few agents like that. So again, don't be that agent.
Yeah. Don't be that agent. That's right.
And the other thing that I learned a long time ago, when I talk to clients, I tell them, I am never going to tell you that something the inspector said needs to be fixed doesn't need to be fixed. That's not my job. But my job is to help you determine whether you're going to fix it or we're going to ask the seller to fix it based on the market. So we do need to be careful that we never say, oh, black stuff in the walls, don't worry about that. I had that and it wasn't a problem.
Correct.
Or the toilet doesn't flush. Don't worry about that.
What's a little water on the ground?
You just put a towel down there. But we are going to help guide them and the attorneys that we work with in our market to figure out who's going to pay for it or whether they're going to walk away. And we are okay with someone walking away from a property that is more than they want to handle. You should never feel like you're pushing a client to buy something that they're afraid of. And even if we feel like that fear isn't quite well placed, once that becomes the hurdle, I am never pushing somebody into a situation where they feel like they bought something that they shouldn't have. No, so there's more houses.
So just be, again, it really always comes down to being the most educated in your field and being the most honest with your clients.
So. Absolutely.
So we're unsure about next week.
Yes. It's our high holiday. Tully and Sheahan will be recreating.
So we may see you before the party really starts next week, or we might see you the following week. But tune in, check to see.
Talk to you soon.